So with the evacuation flights over, the UN Refugee Agency says a larger crisis is just beginning in Afghanistan for the millions of people left behind. Rula Amin is from the UNHCR. She says the needs of those who've been displaced are only growing.
Well, right now we have to remember that there are over 3.5 million Afghans who had to flee their homes looking for safety in the past few years, and they are still displaced inside their own country. Since the beginning of the year, more than 550,000 Afghans included in the 3.5 million who had to flee their homes. So these people are looking for safety. They need humanitarian assistance. They need shelter. They need support to get their basic needs, food, water, access to services. And these needs are only growing with this deepening crisis.
And which kind of groups are most vulnerable?
Well, being displaced is a horrific experience, and it places on people a lot of pressure, and on parents and families, immense demand in order to be able to provide safety for their kids, for their families, to provide food and water, to provide a roof on top of their heads. And amongst them, many are women, many are children, and the elderly. We are trying to reach those who are in need, but there are many. So we're trying to reach the most vulnerable. And this is one of our main concerns, how to maintain our presence on the ground, to stay and deliver support to these people who need it most. And to be able to do so, we need commitment from the different parties and from the authorities. We need safe and unrestricted, unhindered access to all these people in order to be able to fulfill our commitment to stay. We also need the international community to keep its attention on Afghanistan, to continue with its commitment and increase its commitment to support humanitarian agencies like UNHCR, to enable us to stay on the ground and support these people at a very difficult moment.
So 3.5 million people displaced inside Afghanistan. And for those people who've actually fled the country, what kind of solutions can be found for them in the longer term?
Well, I need to clarify. There are those who have been evacuated in the past few weeks, and these have been evacuated without any intervention or role for UNHCR. It happened according to arrangements made by the US and its allies and some of the hosting countries. But we have to remember, Afghan refugees had been forced to cross borders and look for safety and asylum for the past 4 decades. In Afghanistan and Iran alone, we have 2.2 million Afghans who have been refugees now for decades. And these countries need support to be able to continue hosting these refugees.